Hey everyone, welcome to the Live Well, Love Strong podcast. And today I have two very exciting guests, people that I've wanted to talk to for a really long time. I have Lori and Rooster Rossiter with me, and they are with an organization called Ainsley's Angels of America. And I'm going to let them kind of talk a little bit about the organization, and I'm going to give some of my experiences of being in the space that they've created for our community. But first, let's introduce Lori and Rooster. Thanks, y'all, for coming. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Tell me just a little bit about the two of you, high level stuff, and then we'll get into Ainsley's Angels.
Yeah, high level stuff. Well, I'm taller, so I'm a little I'm 6'1", 6'2".
I think I can give a quick rundown.
Okay.
Um, we met in high school. He was 14, I was 15. Puppy love, dated for a year, broke up, stayed friends. He went off to the Marine Corps, came home for a friend's wedding. We reconnected, and the rest is history. Got married in 98, and had three kids.
Wow.
Briley's our oldest, Ainsley is our middle, and Camden is our youngest. And that's how our journey started as a Marine family of three kids, and then a special needs child, which neither one of us had much experience with or knowledge of. So we were kind of like, we just went hard from day one. We went hard
Yeah.
from day one.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about Ainsley herself and what you mean by we went hard from day one. And we have a lot of new moms listening. And so they're kind of, just getting into the journey. They're just kind of figuring it out, getting their bearings. I went hard from day one too, and I've kind of talked a little bit about what that means. What does that mean to you?
So Ainsley was born December 10th, 2003. Briley was 2 when Ainsley was born. And when Ainsley was how old?
I'd say
13 months old,
yeah.
Kim left on deployment for 6 months. And so I was pregnant with Camden at the time. He was our surprise baby. So I was pregnant, and then I had two little ones, and he was deployed. It was very exciting, busy times. And Ainsley, up until that point, had reached all of her typical milestones:
Hmm.
crawling, pulling to stand, cruising around furniture, but she couldn't walk unaided. And so around 15 months, I became concerned, took her to a pediatrician, and then they did a whole slew of tests and eventually physical therapy. She got referred to a neurologist, and it was a long time to get the diagnosis. It took about 2 years. So from 15 months to 3.5 years old is when she finally got her diagnosis, which is
Wow.
infantile neuroaxonal dystrophy, which is a
Wow.
rare genetic disorder. So dad and I had the faulty gene, and she got both faulty genes. She was one of 7 diagnosed at the time. So extremely rare, no
Yeah.
cures, no treatments, just put her, she was in PT, OT, ST. And so going hard, we just researched everything, sought out the best therapist. We built a home gym for her in our home so I could do therapy with her. Um, and so, yeah, we just hit the ground running. And, once we got the diagnosis and it was terminal, life expectancy 5 to 10 years, best case. I think that's when my grief started personally.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it was just, I was stay-at-home mom, I'm a caregiver. So I was just adamant to do everything I could to give her the best life possible. And then obviously, once once Rooster was done with all of his Marine Corps deployments and we were stationed in Virginia Beach where we could have stability for Ainsley, we just, we said we're just going to give her every possibility. We want all of our kids to just have the same possibilities and experiences as everyone else. And so we just, tried to give her the best life, and we didn't sit in home, in the house. We got out, and then as that got harder, I'll let Kim take over with the running because I am not a runner. I am the caregiver and the cheerleader, so I'll let Kim take over of how Ainsley's Angels became a thing, how running came to our lives.
Yeah, I love that. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Rooster.
you would, if that's where you want to take the conversation.
I love the conversation, and I think that Lori set it up perfectly. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I would add about Ainsley is that you have to understand that she was a daddy's girl. And so
Yes.
Mhm.
for any of the listeners out there that have the difference between, mama's baby boy and daddy's girl, like these are two totally different kind of relationships.
Right.
I bring that up just to say that it was it was as if I wanted to find a way to make sure that we could continue to explore our daddy's girl relationship. I
Yeah, I
just didn't
love
know what
that.
it was. I didn't know what it was. And
Yeah.
the dads that might be listening, or the moms that are listening that might share this with the dads, like I think the key to it is to let that naturally kind of take its course. And that's
Mm.
what happened with us. In other words, I was not a runner either. And that might come as a surprise to some. But
Yeah.
after the Marine Corps moved us to Virginia Beach, and Lori worked diligently to get her Ainsley's speech therapies and occupational therapies, and notably her physical therapist lined up, is when we were exposed to this idea of running together using essentially a runner pushing for lack of a better word, a stroller,
Yeah.
and then that stroller would be the child. Now, we've seen over the years, there's parents out there and there's moms that are part of organizations like Stroller Warriors, where you're
Yeah.
basically pushing your typical child in these
Yep.
strollers. But when you get to a certain point in a person's journey, there might be a little too big for a baby stroller. And so
Hmm.
I want to be clear that when we start talking about running with other people in the chairs, that the chairs we're using are not baby strollers. So it's
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
yeah.
and let me say a little bit about that too, because when my oldest, I had a 2-year-old the same time I had Mary Elizabeth as well, Lori. So we had that in common.
Mhm.
And when I had Mary Elizabeth, I was doing the mom exercise stroller thing that you're talking about, Rooster. We would go to the park, we would have a little coffee, we would let our kids run around and play, our typical kids, and then we would strap them in the stroller and go for a walk or go for a run. And if I were a runner, if I were to have continued that, I would have felt the same way as you of like, how do I include Mary Elizabeth in that as she got older and continued to grow? So tell me a little bit more about how the idea or how the dream of creating the community started. I know you wanted to have Ainsley with you, daddy's girl. Y'all wanted something that you had quality time that you could spend together and share. What birthed the bigger idea of creating this community?
Well, the therapist named Peggy Wolf. Peggy was a physical therapist. Lori was bringing Ainsley to see her regularly. We'd only been here for I don't know 6 months or so, maybe a year, and Peggy said to Lori, "Hey, there's this new group that's forming down in the Virginia Beach oceanfront, and what they do is they pair runners with people who have disabilities, and they have the equipment for it." And it's modeled after Team Hoyt. So Team Hoyt is a father-son team who, in the early '70s, Rick, who is a quadriplegic, said to his dad that after going for a run, he felt free.
Yeah,
And that is what caused Dick to want to push his son and be pulled by his son in what ended up being 1,100 races over the course of both of their lives. They're
yeah,
both in
amazing.
heaven now and running up there and doing whatever it is that you spiritually believe. But at the end of the day, that is the dream. That is the
Yeah,
vision. Is that
yeah.
Rick Hoyt said, "I feel free when I'm running."
Mm.
So we went down to the ocean front because our physical therapist told us that
That's
we
good.
would
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
She said,
Yeah,
I really think Ainsley will love this because Ainsley loved the wind in her face and she
yeah,
laughed. And so, yeah, she said, I think Ainsley will love this. And I was like, what do you mean Ainsley's going to go for a run? That doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we did that Saturday morning. Lori and the kids had signs that
Yeah.
were
We made posters.
posters.
Of
Oh,
course.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, it was the first athletic event Ainsley had ever participated in.
Yes, it's a
Just
big
like we
deal.
would do for the other kids
Yeah.
with support, we all wanted to make Ainsley a poster. So yeah,
Yeah, beach you can't catch me.
beach you can't catch me because it was at the beach. So
And
Oh my God.
roll with the wind, which we later coined and carried into the foundation of Ainsley's Angels as a philosophy or a guiding feature of roll with the wind is a mantra of sorts. But I digress. So we get down there. Ainsley's put into one of these adaptive chairs, and then she's paired with this runner who was 6'3", 6'4", and lean.
Yeah.
I'm 6'1", 6'2", and not lean. I'm a U.S. Marine,
you're beefy.
but I'm a thick Marine.
That's right.
Yeah. My colonel used to say I was. Well, he didn't say I was, but people like me. He used to say I was twisted steel and sex appeal.
Wow. Okay.
That's good. I didn't know we were going there today either. I like it.
Me
Keep
neither.
going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was mostly when I would wear the full dress blue uniform.
Good. It's good. It's
Anyway,
good.
you can't
Okay,
take
let
me.
me tell something really quickly. How many years ago was that you brought her to the beachfront and she had her first race?
Thank you. August of 2008, the Surfers Healing 5K, which I want to add a couple points about here in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, August of 2008. So y'all, in 2023, in October, Mary Elizabeth and I showed up in Tomball, Texas, at a park for a Twilight Sunset 5K with Ainsley's Angels Organization of America. And I had heard of it. I had seen pictures. I had seen videos. I had lots of mamas that had said, you have to come. You have to come. You just won't believe it. You just have to come. And I'll tell you the first thing, and Lori knows this and Rooster knows this, when you have a kiddo like Mary Elizabeth, and she gets bigger, it's a lot to get out of the house to get anywhere. Like you have to pack everything up. You have to organize everything. You have to account for any and every kind of happening that could occur that's very different from a neurotypical kid. And so you can't just like get in the car and go somewhere. And so that had been my barrier of like, it's hard. I have to get her there myself. I have to unload her. I have to find, whatever. And so I'd sat on it for a couple of years. But that Friday night in Tomball, Texas, when I put her in the chair, she got paired with her runner, Jeff May, who we love here in Houston, great guy, and they took off. And I'm gonna get emotional just thinking about it because what I felt as a mom was probably the same thing as Mary Elizabeth felt, and it was freedom, it was belonging, it was like, oh my gosh, this is our place. This is our group. These are our people. There are people with disabilities here, and there are people with, you know, that are neurotypical, that are normal, that don't really have a connection to our world other than sports and athletics and a kind heart and the kind of community that you guys have been able to create. Just yeah, it makes me emotional just thinking about it because it's what we want for our kids. It's the atmosphere we want to give them. It's the feeling we want to give them. And Mary Elizabeth that day, the look on her face, she told me when we got home she felt like she was flying, and then she giggled. And I couldn't have given that myself, and I just didn't know what I didn't know until I showed up. And so did you know in 2008 that it would be that way, that you would create this community of inclusion and belonging and acceptance and love and athleticism? I mean, Mary Elizabeth wants to win. She wants the fast, tall, 6'4" lean runner. Did you know that it would be this in 2008?
No, not a chance.
No way. No way. I mean, I think after her first race, because Kim didn't push her in her first race, she was paired with a runner. And after
Yeah.
that race, he said, no way, I'm the only one that's ever going to push her. Like, this is
That's right.
crazy. Like, I'm capable of running. So we started training and running with her. And in that moment, I think we were just so excited that we had something just for Ainsley or just
Yeah.
Ainsley and Rooster.
Hmm.
And I thought, oh, well, this is great. She's going to do races. And then, like I said, Ainsley's Angels and the start and the creation of it, that's all Rooster. He's the one that said everyone needs to have a chance to do this. Everyone. Like,
Hmm.
it's changed our family and Ainsley's life and our other kids. It changed all of our lives so much that he was like, this has to go further. Like, what can I do? How can we do this?
Yeah, I love it. So what's that
Yeah.
feeling? What was the drive of sharing with others? Because we talk a lot, Rooster. I'm gonna give you some context. We talk a lot in on this podcast about we create our own communities. So like, instead of looking around and asking for help, if we find something that we need or want, we build it ourselves, we create it ourselves, we support it, we grow it. What made you decide to do that? Based on, you could have kept that for just you and Ainsley. Y'all could have continued to do that and had really great experiences and had, she would have continued to be daddy's girl. Like,
Yeah.
why create it for everybody else? What's the driving force behind that? I'm super curious.
The biggest piece I would offer is that it was only available in Virginia Beach. There
Mm,
was no other entity that had been formed, and there was no other place in the United States that had Dick Hoyt's blessing to use his name.
wow.
But
Okay.
Team Hoyt Virginia Beach, through a man named Trey White, a local dentist, said, "Can we use your name for this?" And he said we would be honored, but only this one time.
Mm,
And so when it started in 2008, whenever we had a chance to be exposed to it at the very beginning, we were grateful and honored to be part of this thing that V. Dick Hoyt and his son Rick were allowing us to do in their
right.
name. And as time went on, come 2011, and opportunities that my family had to go to Dick's house and to break bread with him and to talk with him and meet Rick and have Ainsley and Rick hang out together. And I
Oh,
could do
cool.
a whole podcast about how
Yeah.
Ainsley and Briley and Rick and me and Lori and Camden and Dick and Kathy Boyer and all of us had great times together for many years. But what happened was this pull. It was this why just in Virginia Beach? And there had been a few conversations with the Hoyts about
Hmm.
maybe expanding it to other locations. And at the time, he just wasn't comfortable with it.
Hmm.
And so the question to him was, well, can we carry on this mission in Ainsley's name? Can we
Mm,
do this through Ainsley's Angels, what essentially became Ainsley's Angels,
right.
and we got his blessing there
Yeah.
at his house, and numerous times thereafter as Team Hoyt and Ainsley's Angels partnered on many things, uh,
Right.
and there's not enough time to go into all of them. Um, but the beautiful thing was that now we had this opportunity to spread. And so how do you spread? Well, this is
Right.
where my sister comes in. So my sister's living down in Louisiana. Her name is Chris. And she's like, I'm seeing all the fun that you're having up there, and I'm Ainsley's godmother, and I really want to like I can't see her all the time, and I want to do what can we do? And I'm like, well, we're going to be running the Marine Corps Marathon in October. Um, maybe you can come. And she goes, maybe I can come, but maybe I can get y'all some T-shirts.
Mm,
So it would say like Team Ainsley Marine Corps Marathon or something like that.
right. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is we're filming this podcast from the Finish Line store. If you go on Ainsley'sAngels.org and order merchandise, it ships from here.
Cool.
I mentioned that because in that moment I told my sister, I don't do T-shirts. Like if you want to go and figure that out, I'm busy. But yeah, sure. Well, that led to a conversation a week later, which was essentially, instead of just having the T-shirt thing, maybe we could actually have an entity that these T-shirts support. And because she had helped her husband kind of form his LLC, she kind of had an idea for where to start. And so anyway, we ended up on a website and found the name Ainsley's Angels, and it was already taken. And so she hopped back on and put Ainsley's Angels. What are we going to put? I was like, of America. And that's how Ainsley's Angels of America was accepted
That's
by the
awesome.
Louisiana Secretary of State as an entity. And of course, that starts the process then of talking to the federal government about tax exemption as a 501c3. But the answer to your question is that it needed to go further than just Virginia Beach. We had
Mhm.
Dick Hoyt's blessings to do it, and my sister wanted to get involved in bringing this to Southwest Louisiana. Those
Love
are the
it.
three, I think, main things that had to happen
Yeah.
for us to even continue this conversation or to go any further. Does that
Yeah.
does that make sense
That
fundamentally?
makes so much sense. And that's how it works is we build it bit by bit with the people that we know, bridging communities, family, friends, all the things. Yeah, it's perfect. That's a perfect
Yeah,
story.
hearing Rooster tell that story, I'm just sitting here thinking, how did it get so big?
Right. I mean,
How
guys, this is big, right?
has it gotten so big? And I think for me, the simplest answer is a lot of blood, sweat, tears, passion, love. Rooster has surrounded himself with the most incredible, incredible people. Some of them are family, some of them are friends he's had for decades, some of them are newer. It's just the people that have jumped on board is just astonishing. And
Yeah.
I would say majority of the people, almost everyone, they're volunteers.
Yeah.
They have full-time jobs, they have families, and it's just astonishing to me what, just the people that he's been able to surround himself with, and I'm like, "Wow, there are incredible people in the world doing incredible things and that do wanna make a difference," and yeah, it's just been crazy to look back and see how fast and how big it's gotten.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that you said that because I think that a lot sometimes too, of like our community, I meet people regularly that I think are amazing people. And I don't know if that's just because this life builds those skills. I don't quite know, but it's pretty regular that I would meet someone in our community and think, what a cool person, what an amazing person. I would want to spend time with that person. But when I go to your events, everybody I meet, it's the same exact thing. But they're not all in our community, quote unquote. I guess they are now because they're
Right.
at your event. But yeah, where do you find them? It's amazing. I mean that not literally. It's amazing
Yeah,
how you have managed to find these people who have lovely hearts and who, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
or who want people to feel good about themselves and belong. Yeah, it's good stuff.
yeah,
I think I want to add two things. Number one, the purity of the mission.
Yeah,
Like at its core, what we
yeah,
do takes one runner, one rider, one chair, go.
yeah.
Now, everything else that we surround around that just elevates the experience.
Hmm.
But we never have lost sight of you have to have a rider,
Yeah,
you have to have a comfortable chair for them, and you have to have someone to loan their legs for them to do the event.
right.
So the purity of how simple that is, one human helping another human, and that
Oh,
human in turn helping the other human. Because we can't for a minute think that what our runners do is to help our riders. And that
right. Yeah,
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 the second that you go down that road, the second you don't understand the whole part of the mission.
yeah. So
That
let's,
rider, yeah,
yes.
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, as a mom, I always felt that in the beginning, like so grateful and thankful for these people pushing my kid, right? Like, thank you for being her legs. Thank you for letting her fly. Thank you for donating your time. Thank you for loving her. Thank you for seeing her. Thank you for acknowledging her. Um, and I'm just nonstop, but they always say, and I want you to tell me what they would say, what the runners say back to me of why they do this.
Yeah, it's because of what they actually feel like they receive from the rider. And that brings about another way to look at this. Often you hear the runner pushes the rider. In Ainsley's Angels, we flip that on its head and we say that the rider pulls the runner. And once you understand that, you understand it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do runners say it gives them? What are some of the most common things that they say as to why they do it? I mean, I can totally go, but I would like for you or Lori to.
I I think I've heard a lot of, once again, I'm not a runner. I'm the sideline girl, but but I I think a lot of them, it gives their running new purpose, that they're not just doing it for themselves, or they're not just trying to get a new PR and, but it just gives it more meaning and a new meaning, and maybe that gives them a new passion or a new drive. But Rooster can definitely answer it better because he is the runner. So
Well, so I have to answer it first as a runner with Ainsley,
Yep.
and it's exactly what Lori said. It was purpose, but
Hmm.
it also really goes to the heart of this idea of in positive psychology. There's three major things. There's a whole bunch of things in positive psychology, but the three I want to highlight is meaning, relationships, and engagement. And
Hmm.
so what you see happening is suddenly your running has purpose, aka meaning,
Right.
then that leads to you establishing relationships with this person you're running with.
Hmm.
And then ultimately that then allows the two of you to engage in your community.
Yeah.
And when meaning, relationship, and engagement happens tenfold, you have an event like you experienced in October of
Yes.
2023 at the Twilight 5K,
Yeah.
or you have an organization that's 40,000 strong across the country called Ainsley's Angels of America. And it's so pure and it's so magnetic that everyone wants to be involved in it because it provides that purpose, that meaning, that relationship, that engagement, with which ultimately it creates community. It creates
Yeah.
belonging, and it creates this thing that is better than frankly any therapy that you can get elsewhere.
Yes. Yeah, totally. I love it. I love it. And you're creating collective love, collective awe. We talked about that a lot about we're not here alone. Like we're all here. We're meant for connection. We're meant for relationships. We're meant to engage together. And what I experienced that night was collective awe. It's like nothing short of a miracle. And I think it does take the pure mission. It makes it what you're saying. It takes a runner, a rider, and a chair. Very simple, very clean, very pure. And yeah, I mean, you can't, how do you buy that? I don't know. It's like, it's the best. Yeah.
yeah, and I know for me, when Ainsley first got her diagnosis and we were in North Carolina, I didn't we were part of, a couple of play groups, but no one had a special needs child. I'd never really been exposed to that. I was the
Hmm.
only one, so they were very supportive, but I just felt alone because I
Yeah.
felt, "You don't get it, you don't understand, no one understands me now," all my
Yeah.
years. And then we moved to Virginia Beach, and I would see other moms or dads or kids at therapy very briefly, but I still felt isolated.
Yeah.
And I'm not the extroverted one, that's Rooster. I'm very introverted and kind of shy. And
Yeah.
so for me, it just was a world of like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not alone. Look at all
Yeah.
these beautiful people," and then just sharing stories and experiences, and me not worrying that, if Ainsley drooled, someone was gonna think that was weird or gross. Like,
Right.
they
Yeah.
didn't even look twice. I just had never felt so accepted,
Yeah.
or my daughter so accepted, and that's what really was transformative for me,
Yeah.
was the people and the families that we met that became lifelong friends, basically, like Rooster says, family members.
Right.
And then when Ainsley passed, having that support and all of those quote unquote family members to just that knew Ainsley and truly loved her, it was just,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine not having that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it did for me, or as a non-runner,
Hmm.
as a parent, a friend, a family member, whatever, just feeling like you're not alone, you're not
Right.
isolated, and it's like it was Ainsley's world now,
Yeah.
this Ainsley's world that we were stepping into, And that was amazing to me. Like, oh, we're the odd ones now,
That's right.
surrounded
Yeah.
by all these beautiful people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what it did for me.
I love that. What is y'all's mission, Rooster?
Well, the whole idea, well, it's together we shall.
There
Together
you
we
go.
shall accomplish so much more. And it's embedded. Everything Lori just said is about that collective togetherness and that
Hmm.
feeling. Ultimately, the mission of Ainsley's Angels is to create that feeling of belonging
Yeah.
within one another. Now, of
Yeah.
course, we do that through advocacy, through education, and frankly, through celebration. Celebration of allyship, celebration of empowerment.
Love it. I love it. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about someone outside of our community that's an athlete, that's a runner, that's not an athlete or a runner, but wants to be part of this community, wants to uh, push, wants to help, wants to volunteer, wants to advocate, wants to come and experience this collective, wonderful kind of feeling that you guys have created. What's the first thing they need to do, or how do they get involved? How do they get into Ainsley's Angels?
Uh, but Ainsley'sAngels.org, we've tried to provide a one-stop shop that's got
Okay.
everything. But right when you get there, there's some buttons towards the top of the page, and it says
Hmm.
Join Today.
Hmm.
When you click the Join Today button, it's going to take you to a landing page and asks you to find your state.
Hmm.
Once you find your state, it's going to ask you to find your specific kind of locale in your state. And then it's going to give you a chance to answer one of four questions. Are you trying to sign up to be a runner, aka one who will be pulled? Are you trying to sign your loved one up or yourself to be a rider, aka one who's going to pull people while seated in the chariot?
Yep.
A guardian angel, which is a volunteer on site that's going to help with positioning, help with cheering, help with putting riders into chairs, help with moving merchandise around, greeting people, all the things you would expect from a community of engagement, from a community of belonging. Guardian.
Hmm.
Or fourthly, it's going to offer you a chance to be an ally of the mission, an ally of people with disabilities. I mean, let's face it. Some statistics say 1 in 4, some say 1 in 6, some say 1 in 8 in the world have disability. I
Yeah.
like to just say every one of us, if you don't currently have a diagnosis, you will eventually. So,
Yeah.
so why not be an ally for your future self now
Right. Yeah.
by joining Ainsley's Angels? And then what that does is it'll then give you emails from our local effort that you've joined, and
Hmm.
in those emails will be like monthly, and it
Hmm.
will also give you insight into upcoming opportunities. And then lastly, it'll enter you into our national email database form that we send out one email a month that tells you of things happening across the country.
Okay.
So that's the short answer. Believe it
Yeah,
or
no,
not.
I love it. That's
Cool.
easy. Okay, let me say something follow up to that. So angelsofamerica.org, their
Mm-mm.
website,
No. Ainsley'sAngels.org.
angelsangels.org, and I will put it in the program notes, right, y'all, so that we get the right one. Angelsangels.org. Join today, and then you can pick how you want to support Ainsley's Angels. If you are a new mom and you're signing your person up to be a rider, one of the things that I like to say for new moms is bring a lot of water. Bring a lot of, like, if your kiddo is like Mary Elizabeth and has poor trunk control, bring pillows, props, like just different things that you would do to kind of position her into the chair so that they're comfortable. And then bring your dancing shoes because, like, I haven't been to an Ainsley's Angels event that they haven't had great music, good times, everybody's dancing, we're enjoying each other's company, and we really just have a great time. That's the Louisiana part. I can tell you that's the Louisiana influence.
Yeah, yeah. I would want I want the listeners to know that we offer our own race series of 10 to 12 races that we do all the things for. And one of them is this Twilight race you mentioned. Heather
Mhm.
in Houston and her team puts that on as part of our Ainsley's Angels race series. This basically means that we do the medals and the shirts and the timer and the DJ and the emceeing and the music. That's all encompassing in the event. But what listeners may not understand too is we also do between 600 and 900 other 5Ks and bigger across the country every year. So, in addition to our own 12 races or so, we participate in everyone else's races.
Love it.
And that's what our ambassadors do. So, I
Yeah.
mentioned those four functions earlier, but there's a fifth function, which is the ambassador. This is a person that we train, we put a lot of invested time and energy into to empower them with the skills that they need to be an advocate. So they coordinate with local event coordinators like the 5K race director if you pick a
Hmm.
race. And then they make sure that everybody understands what's needed for that event. I'm mentioning this because this takes the burden off of your listener from having to do that.
Yeah.
So if you're a runner and you want to go run the 5K down at, you pick a 5K coming up, and Ainsley's Angels is not involved in that race, then because we already have our schedule of 20 other races lined up, this is a chance for you to share with your local ambassador that there's a great race that we should consider for next year. And
Love
then
it.
the
Okay.
local ambassador will engage with them to ensure that all the things are worked out.
Yeah.
A lot of details that goes into it way prior to hitting the gun that says start or ready, set.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if you are an athlete and you are or let's say you're hosting a race or you have an event like Rooster just said, we can come to your next year's event. We
Yeah.
can. Yeah, love it. Okay. Mary Elizabeth did a triathlon. She ran a marathon, and we are trying to figure out if the Spartan thing would be right for her or not. So we'll see. I know Rooster's saying yes, but I'd like to talk to Lori as the mom about that.
Well, no, I'm not saying yes. I'm saying I'm glad that you're exploring inclusion without limits, which is
Yeah,
our vision.
love it.
Set the conditions where you can go from a 5K to a half to a full to a triathlon to the pool to a Spartan obstacle course type race. But at the end of the day, Ainsley never did a Spartan obstacle race, and Ainsley never went in a raft in the water.
Oh,
These
okay.
things are not.
Yeah, that would not have been safe
No.
because Ainsley's dystrophy was progressive. So over time,
Mhm.
she lost all abilities.
Yeah,
Um, and so yeah, mouth always open. She could have taken in water. It would have been very dangerous for her. And I don't think we were participating in Spartans while Ainsley was still living.
No, our partnership with Spartan has really grown over the past few
Right.
years. But I'm using that as an example
Mhm.
just to say that it's not something that I and Lori and I feel like she would have gained
yeah,
from doing.
Right. And
yeah,
also, it's always an option if you're hesitant, if you are a new parent and you think that this is, your child would love it, you can always just go and watch and get a
yeah,
better feel for it. And then maybe
mhm,
after the race, say, hey, I'm so and so, this is so and so, we're interested in this, but I'm not sure. Could they maybe sit in the chair? Could we try
yeah.
this? We
That's a
don't
great
have to
idea.
commit right away and
Yeah,
then feel like, oh no. Because I know with Ainsley, I was very hesitant about
yeah.
everything. The weather had to be just right. Her health had to be just right. Like everything had to be just right. And there were times where I
Hmm.
told Rooster, I'm sorry, babe, she can't do this race.
Yeah,
She can't do this race. She's been a little gunky, or it's going to be
yeah.
drizzly, or it's too cold. And he would say, okay, like he trusted me.
Hmm.
Well, I would have dared him to say
That's
otherwise.
right. That's
Just kidding.
right. We could
But
say he
yeah,
trusted you. I like
and
it.
I certainly there were plenty of races. Her first marathon, I thought this is too much. There's no way she can do this. And
Yeah.
then, lucky for me, her father was with her. But if
Hmm.
it's not
Yeah.
a parent, if it's a stranger or a person you don't know, I could imagine how nerve-wracking that can be. And maybe you just want to, learn more about it, see the environment, meet the people first. Obviously, people are background checked and all of that sort of thing. But there's a lot of hesitation with your
Yeah.
baby, regardless. I know
Yeah.
for me, I'm not just going to hand my kid off to anyone and be like, sure, take them for a run. And then, like with Ainsley, she had a feed tube, she had
Yep.
the choke. There was a lot of things that a runner other than her father wouldn't have
Right.
known, but would have needed to know. So
Right. Yeah. That's
sometimes you
such
can
good.
just maybe build up a relationship first, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. That's good information. And I will say when Mary Elizabeth did her marathon, we, had checkpoints with the runner so that she could be fed through her G tube so that we could check, so we could change bibs, we could check airway, the whole 9 yards. And
Mhm.
so, um, Yeah.
That's
I mean,
those are great points, Sarah. And then that's what our ambassador is trained to do and to think through by way of a
mhm,
battle rhythm for an execution. So um, making sure those things are in place is another thing that the infrastructure provides when you join it.
mhm, yeah.
Which is why I'm encouraging folks to consider joining Ainsley's Angels versus trying to go do this on their own.
Right.
While it would be great for you to create your own experiences, we've done all the hard things over the past 15 years to set the conditions and to know how to
Yeah.
engage. So, um, the other thing I want to offer, and it lines up with what both of you were saying, runners get into this thing where they want to do a 5K and then they want to do
Mhm.
a 10K. And then, of course, you got to go do a half. And before
That's
too long, you're doing a full and then an ultra and then you're doing Ironman. Like, let me put some people at ease. Ainsley's first 5K was in October of 2008. She did not run a half marathon for years.
yeah.
And in the course of her life, she went from a 5K to 4 full marathons.
Yeah.
But understand that that was over the course of 2008 to 2015. That was 7 years of
Yeah.
slowly scaling that. And I think that's important. There's
Yeah.
also no pressure for a ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no pressure. And the other thing I was going to say is the runners, I mean, we've already talked about how lovely they are, but I'll give you an example. We had a runner, they call him, everybody's famous. They call him the Speedo Bandito. And we ran a marathon with him this past year, and it happened to be Mary Elizabeth's birthday week. And I didn't tell him, but he found out about it. He found out that she loved Taylor Swift, and he made a whole playlist for Mary Elizabeth. And so they listened to Taylor Swift for the 26.2 miles
Bless his heart.
that she pulled him. Right. And I can't make this stuff up, y'all. Like, this is amazing. But yeah, and we checked in, and I was, as a mom, I was really comfortable. And I'm like, Lori, I'm super protective, which is probably why it took me a while to get her there. But once I got her there, yeah, you start building up, you feel more comfortable. And then I just saw Mary Elizabeth's face, and I thought, okay, should we have to continue to come back? Because this is the only sporting event that she can participate in that she really, really enjoys. And so, yeah,
The face is what did it for us.
yeah.
Ainsley's And as time went on, she lost the ability to smile, but there were
Mhm.
times where she would still smile for
Yeah,
races.
like you
It took
knew,
every
right?
ounce of her, and I was
Yes.
just like, "Oh my god, she has to do this forever," and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost it becomes addicting because you just
Hmm.
see how life-changing
Right.
it is, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
So
it. Okay. All
there's
right.
three there's three things that I got to get in here. So the
Yep.
first one is this smile that Lori speaks about. I want to take us back to the 6364 lean runner that we were on the at the Surface Ceiling 5K for Ainsley's first race.
Yeah.
She's in the chair, they take off. Before I could realize it, they were almost out of sight. And the physical therapist, Peggy, that invited us to this race, looks over towards me and she's like, I thought you were running. And of course, at that point, I don't know anything about the running world. I don't have a bib. I don't understand any of that. And she's like, she's just telling me, go, go. So, yes, I was a bandit for my first race. But as I approached, it was an out and back. So Ainsley
Hmm.
and her runner went to the 1.5 mile mark and they
Hmm.
turned around. And now they're their 2 mile mark as I'm finally approaching the 1 mile, which is the same
Hmm.
spot.
Right.
That is when I got to see her smile.
Mm.
If I was behind the chair being pulled by her, I couldn't have seen her smile.
Yeah, it
But
was meant to happen
her,
that way. Yeah.
100%. And it was
Yeah.
wide open. And I was like, oh my gosh. The story goes on, but I'll suffice to say, I did not finish with her. I tried to run with them for a second, but they were running 5 minute miles, and Ainsley won the race. She run,
That's right.
won,
Yeah,
won.
she's fast. I like it. I love that. Yeah. The
The other thing
smile.
is the other thing is about equipment. So when y'all are talking about the safety and being protective,
Hmm.
we are going to work to accommodate the rider to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
Ainsley's final race, the 100th race at the Marine Corps Marathon in October of 2015, she had a BiPAP, she had a
Mm.
whole socks, and
Yeah.
she had other medical equipment that we found a way to strap to her chair so that
Wow.
we could monitor her through that journey.
Yeah.
So that's the level that we want to go through to ensure safety.
Yeah, I love that. And I have, as a mom, I can just say I've never felt uncomfortable putting Mary Elizabeth in the chair and sending her off, even on that first day. The runner, just said all the right things to make me feel comfortable. I always have their cell phone number. Yeah, if it's a short race, you can, practically see them because a lot of them are in and outs, like Rooster was saying. And I think that the people that are there have a respect for people with disabilities or kids like Mary Elizabeth, or they just, there's a respect there. And so they're not going to do anything that's going to put
No,
those babies at harm's way. Sometimes they're asking me, what else do I need to do? I'm like, just go take her. So yeah, that you guys have created a really great environment that, safety is very apparent. It's at the forefront. And, our kids are really well taken care of when they're out in the course with their runner. Yeah.
Yep. So upcoming on October 3rd, right there in Tomball, you're going to have a chance to come do the Twilight 5K. It's right around the corner. Listeners that are hearing this, go to Ainsley'sAngels.org, click the button that says Race Series. Then you'll see the Twilight 5K listed down there. It's October 4th at the ISD. That's one of many
Right.
opportunities to get involved, but it's the best one for
It
you to
really
really
is the best
appreciate.
one, y'all. It's the best one. So check out ainsley'sangels.org. You can go all over Facebook. They have different groups for their different areas. So the one that I'm in is the Greater Houston Area Ambassadorship. But just, find Ainsley's Angels if you are an athlete and or a parent or a person who wants to participate or an ally. We need as many allies as we can, guys, and this will change your life. Thank you so much, Lori and Rooster, for coming on and talking. I have respected you guys and have really been grateful for you ever since that very first race, and for the space and the community that you've built and grown. I'm grateful for Ainsley and for that smile, and just for, just the efforts that you guys have made to make her included, which makes my daughter included, which makes all the other kids included, and all the other people. So thank you so much. Thank you for being on. I appreciate you guys. Any last parting comments, anything?
Thank you for having us. I mean, obviously, I love talking about Ainsley and all my children and Ainsley's Angels, and I'm so glad that it's changed your life, and we just want to change everyone's life. We just want everyone to witness this, and so just thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank y'all
And as
so
a
much.
mom, I have a lot of respect for you as well, even though I don't know you personally. I
Thank
have a
you.
lot of respect for you.
Yeah, thank you, ditto. I feel like it's like that in our world. Like I can see another mom, I can take a peek at what she's managing, and I'm like, yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for that.